Have you ever noticed how your mind loves to tell stories? It takes a single event, a look, a word, a moment, and turns it into a full-blown narrative. They don't like me. I'm not good enough. Something bad is going to happen. These stories feel real, even though they're just interpretations. But here's the question. If your mind can create stories, can it also create reality? And if so, how much of what you believe is actually true? In this episode, we'll explore how the mind weaves narratives, why we believe them, and how to see through the illusions they create. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see someone you know. You smile and wave, but they don't respond. What happens next? For most of us, the mind immediately starts telling a story. They must be mad at me. I must have done something wrong. Maybe they don't like me anymore. These thoughts feel real, but are they? Or are they just interpretations? Stories your mind is creating based on past experiences, fears, and assumptions? The truth is, your mind is a master storyteller. It takes fragments of information and fills in the blanks, creating a narrative that feels complete and convincing. But here's the key. These stories are not facts. They're not reality. They're just mental constructs, interpretations of events that may or may not be true. And yet, we believe them. We take them as truth, and we act on them, often without even realizing it. So, why does the mind do this? Why does it create stories instead of just seeing things as they are? The answer lies in its need for control. The mind craves certainty. It wants to make sense of the world, to predict what's going to happen, and to protect you from harm. And so, it creates stories that explain why things happen, what they mean, and what you should do about them. But here's the problem. These stories are often wrong. They're based on incomplete information, past conditioning, and unconscious biases. And yet, we believe them because they feel real. Here's an exercise to try. The next time a story arises in your mind, whether it's about someone else, yourself, or the world, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this true? Is this story based on facts, or is it just an interpretation? Notice how the story feels when you question it. Does it still have the same power over you? Or does it start to lose its grip? This simple act of questioning can create a space between you and the story, allowing you to see it for what it really is, just a thought, not reality. Now, let's go deeper. The stories we tell ourselves aren't just about external events. They're also about who we are. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I'm unworthy of love. These stories feel personal, but are they really? Or are they just patterns of thinking that we've picked up over the years? The truth is, these stories are not who you are. They are not your identity. They are just mental habits, old, worn-out narratives that no longer serve you. And the moment you see this, you can begin to let them go. Here's another exercise. Think of a story you've been telling yourself, a story that's been holding you back. Maybe it's a story about your abilities, your worth, or your future. Now, imagine stepping back from that story. Imagine observing it from a distance, like a movie playing on a screen. Notice how it feels. Does the story still define you? Or does it feel smaller, less significant? This is the power of awareness. It allows you to see your stories for what they really are, just thoughts, not facts. As you begin to question your stories, something remarkable happens. You start to see through the illusions they create. You realize that much of what you believe is not true. It's just a story, a narrative your mind has created to make sense of the world. And in that realization, you find freedom. Freedom from the need to control. Freedom from the need to know. Freedom to simply be. In the next episode, we'll explore how to deepen this sense of freedom and uncover the true nature of the self. Until then, take a moment to observe the stories your mind is telling. Notice them without judgment, without resistance, and without the need to believe them. And in that noticing, you'll find everything you've been looking for.